Something is happening for you right now, Capricorn, even if you cannot see all of it yet. You have been in a season of quiet work. The kind of work that does not get applause. The kind that happens behind closed doors, early in the morning before anyone else is awake, or late at night when the day has emptied out and it is just you and the weight of everything you are carrying. You have been building something steadily and patiently, in the way only a Capricorn can. And now, before this month ends, the universe is beginning to make a move on your behalf. Not a loud move. Not a sudden explosion of fortune that lands all at once, but a series of quiet alignments, small movements in exactly the right directions, that together add up to something undeniably significant. You may have already started to notice some of them. A door that seemed permanently closed has developed a small crack of light. A relationship that felt stalled has taken a single step forward that changed the whole feeling of it. A sense of relief you cannot fully explain has started replacing the heaviness that has lived in your chest for longer than you want to admit. These are not coincidences. These are the 11 ways life is beginning to align for you. Saturn rewards patience. Saturn rewards effort. Saturn rewards the ones who keep going when every reasonable person would have stopped. You have been one of those people, and now it is your season. Let these 11 ways remind you of what you have earned and what is on its way. Way 1. The right opportunity is reaching you through an unexpected source. When Capricorn thinks about opportunity, the mind goes to the familiar channels. The professional network you have built over years. The organizations you belong to. The people who know your work and your name. You have always cultivated access through discipline and preparation, because you understand that success does not fall from the sky. You go to it, you build toward it, you earn your way in through the front door. But right now, something different is happening. The opportunity that is aligning for you this month is not coming through a door you built. It is coming through a window you did not know was open. An unexpected source. Someone outside your usual circle. A connection that does not look like it should matter but turns out to carry exactly the right information, at exactly the right time. This is Saturn working in collaboration with the energy of surprise. Your ruling planet does not usually do surprise. Saturn prefers structure. Saturn prefers the logical progression from one step to the next. But this month, Saturn has arranged things in a way that requires you to trust something that does not fit your normal pattern. You may feel a slight resistance when this opportunity first appears. It may not look the way you expected it to look. It may arrive in a form you would normally screen out, a casual remark, a second-hand suggestion, a message from someone you have not thought about in a while. Do not let your pattern recognition system dismiss it before you have given it a real look. Because this is the one that has been arranged for you. This is the one that fits the version of yourself you have been quietly becoming. Way 2. A relationship is moving into its next chapter. There is at least one relationship in your life right now that has been sitting at a threshold. It has not broken. It has not grown. It has simply been waiting. Waiting for something to shift between you and the other person. Waiting for one of you to say or do the thing that changes the whole energy of what you share. For Capricorn, relationships move slowly by design. You do not rush intimacy. You do not fast forward through the layers of trust building that you believe are necessary before you truly let someone in. And while that caution has protected you many times, it has also sometimes kept relationships in a kind of frozen state, where they cannot go deeper because you have not yet moved the boundary that holds them at arm's length. This month something is moving. Maybe you have already felt it. A conversation with this person that went a little further than usual. A moment of honesty that felt surprising even as it was happening. A small act of vulnerability that you offered without fully planning it, and then felt relieved rather than exposed by. This is the relationship beginning its next chapter. And as it moves, you will find that the trust you have built slowly and carefully is a foundation that can hold a great deal more than you previously allowed it to hold. Let this relationship grow. Let the next chapter open. You have earned it, and so has the person who has been patiently waiting at your threshold. If what you are hearing feels accurate, know that it could happen if you applied this energy consistently for 21 consecutive days. That is the 21-day challenge pinned at the top of this channel. It is built around daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you are tired of staying in the same cycle, that structure is exactly what has been missing. Way 3. Your clarity is returning after a long fog. There have been months, possibly longer, when things felt unclear for you. Not catastrophically so. You have not been falling apart. That is not your way. But underneath your composed exterior, there has been a fog. A sense that you could not quite see where you were going with the same sharpness you are used to. That the goals that once felt solid were slightly blurry at the edges. That the plan, which has always been your anchor, was shifting in ways that made you uncertain of your footing. Capricorn without a clear direction is quietly uncomfortable in a way that very few people see. You keep working because that is what you do. But the work feels slightly mechanical, slightly without the fire that makes it feel worth it. And something has been slowly changing. The fog is lifting, not all at once, not in a single dramatic moment, but in a series of small clarifications. A priority that was murky is becoming sharp. A value you had temporarily lost track of is reasserting itself. A direction that felt uncertain is starting to feel inevitable again, not because your circumstances have changed, but because you have reconnected with something inside yourself that the fog had temporarily hidden. This clarity is aligning for you now, and with it comes the return of your most powerful state. Capricorn with a clear goal is an unstoppable force. You know this about yourself. You have seen what you can accomplish when your mind is aligned with your effort, and your effort is aligned with your purpose. You are returning to that alignment now. The fog is done. Wave 4. A financial shift is beginning to build. You are careful with resources, Capricorn. You always have been. While other signs spend freely and trust that more will arrive, you have always understood that security is built slowly, through discipline, through restraint, through the long game that others find boring but you find satisfying. You have never been reckless. And because you have not been reckless, you are in a position to receive what is now beginning to move in your financial life. This month, something is aligning in the direction of your resources. It may look small at first. A single shift in your numbers. A single opportunity that opens a slightly larger door than the ones you have been walking through. A single decision that, when you look back on it in 6 months, you will recognize as the turn where things started moving in a better direction. For Capricorn, financial alignment rarely comes as a windfall. It comes as a momentum shift. One thing leads to another, and then one day you realize that the slow, patient, deliberate strategy you have been running has been accumulating in ways that are now becoming visible. This is that moment. The accumulation is starting to show itself. The patience is beginning to pay dividends. You do not need to do anything dramatic to welcome this. You simply need to keep doing what you do. Stay consistent. Stay focused. Stay clear about your priorities. The universe is matching your discipline with its own kind of movement. Wave 5. Your health and energy are asking for a new agreement. This is something Capricorn often postpones. You know how to push through. You know how to override the signals your body sends when it is asking for rest or care. You have done it many times, treating physical discomfort as inconvenient noise to be managed rather than important communication to be heard. And for a long time your body cooperated, kept going because you needed it to keep going. But lately there has been a different kind of signal. Not pain necessarily, more like a quiet insistence. A pulling back of energy in the hours when you used to be most productive. A heaviness that does not fully lift with the usual amount of rest. An awareness that the old agreement you had with your body, where you pushed and it followed, may need to be renegotiated. This month, your alignment is asking you to bring your body along, not just your ambition. The life that is building for you requires more of you than strategy and persistence. It requires vitality. It requires the kind of sustained energy that only comes when you are actually taking care of yourself, not just managing yourself. You do not need to overhaul everything. You just need to listen a little more carefully. One thing adjusted. One habit given a second look. One small act of physical care that tells your system you are paying attention. That is enough to begin a new agreement. And from that new agreement, the energy that life is trying to bring you will have somewhere healthy to land. Wave 6. A person in your life is about to show you their full loyalty. You have always placed a very high value on loyalty. For Capricorn, it is one of the foundational qualities that determines whether someone earns a real place in your life or stays at a comfortable distance. You have been patient in testing it because you know that loyalty reveals itself over time, not in grand declarations but in the accumulation of consistent small choices. This month, someone is about to show you their full loyalty in a way that removes any remaining doubt about where they stand. It will not necessarily be a dramatic gesture. For Capricorn, the most meaningful expressions of loyalty rarely are. It will be something precise and specific, something that tells you this person knows who you are, remembers what matters to you, and has chosen you deliberately and without reservation. When this happens, let yourself feel it. Do not immediately file it away as data and move on to the next concern. Sit with it for a moment. Let it matter to you. Because one of the alignments life is offering you this month is not just practical or professional. It is relational. It is the universe showing you that the people you have chosen with your careful, patient discernment have been well chosen. That your patience in the area of trust has brought you to a place where the people around you are genuinely worthy of what you give them. This is no small thing. For Capricorn, being surrounded by truly loyal people is a form of wealth that no financial accounting can measure. If this message is resonating with your sign right now, trust that it is not a coincidence. When the universe wants to speak to you, it sends exactly the right signal at exactly the right moment. And you are here because you needed to hear this today. Your support, whether as a subscriber or as a member of this community, is what keeps these messages alive. The ones that touch hearts, awaken minds, and transform lives. If this video has been making sense to you, drop in the comments the day you were born. Let us keep going. Way 7. A long-held goal is closer than it appears. You have been working towards something for a long time, Capricorn. Something that has required more from you than almost anything else you have ever done. Not necessarily in visible effort, though there has been plenty of that, but in quiet, persistent, private endurance. In the willingness to keep your eyes on something that sometimes felt impossible, and to keep walking toward it even when the distance never seemed to shrink. This month, the distance is shrinking. You may not have the full measure of it yet. Capricorn tends to underestimate their own proximity to a goal, because you are more accustomed to tracking how far you have to go rather than appreciating how far you have already come. But if you were to turn around for just a moment and look back at where you started, and then look forward at where you are now, you would see that the remaining distance is genuinely smaller than it has ever been. The goal is close. The effort you are making right now is not wasted effort. It is the final push of a long climb, the part where the summit is not yet visible but where experienced climbers know they are nearly there. Your whole life has been preparing you to be the kind of person who can hold on in this phase. Not to give up because the end is not yet visible. Not to sprint in a panic because urgency is telling you to hurry. But to take one more deliberate, precise, powerful step forward. And then another. And then another. You are almost there. And this month is showing you that what is ahead is actually worth every step you have taken. Way 8. Your instincts are becoming more trustworthy. Capricorn does not always trust instinct. You trust data. You trust evidence. You trust the careful analysis of a situation from every angle before you commit to a course of action. Instinct, by contrast, feels unreliable, too fast, too unverified, too easily influenced by fear or desire rather than by actual truth. So you have often set aside the quiet voice of your gut in favor of the louder reasoning of your mind. But something is happening right now that is worth naming. Your instincts are getting better. Or rather, you are getting better at reading them. Because instinct for Capricorn is not the wild, impulsive feeling it might be for a fire sign. It is something quieter, a slight pull in one direction, a subtle resistance to a certain path, a knowing that shows up before the reasoning does and turns out, when you check it against the facts, to have been right. This month, life is aligning in a way that rewards you for listening to that quiet knowing. There is a decision coming, or perhaps already in front of you, where your instinct has an opinion, where something in you is already moving in a particular direction even before you have finished analyzing all the options. This time, give it more weight than you usually do. Not blind trust, not leaping without looking, but a willingness to let your instinct sit at the table alongside your reasoning, rather than being dismissed until the reasoning has finished talking. Because right now, they are pointing in the same direction. And when that happens for a Capricorn, it is a powerful signal to move. Way 9. Something you released is creating space for something better. Not long ago, you let go of something. Maybe you let go of a relationship that had been costing you more than it was giving. Maybe you let go of a habit that you recognized was holding you in place. Maybe you let go of a version of yourself that no longer fit the direction you were heading. Maybe you let go of an expectation about how something was supposed to look, and chose instead to let it be what it actually was. For Capricorn, releasing is not easy. You hold on. You are loyal to what you have built, even when what you have built has stopped serving you. You do not abandon things lightly. So when you do release something, it is because you have thought about it carefully, tested the decision from multiple angles, and finally arrived at the quiet certainty that the release is necessary. What you released is now creating space. Empty space is uncomfortable for Capricorn. You do not like the feeling of a gap where something used to be. But the gap is not empty in the way you fear it is. It is being filled. Not yet visibly. Not yet in a way you can point to. But underneath the surface of what you can currently see, something new is taking root in the space that you cleared. By the time this month ends, the first signs of what that new thing is going to be will start to become visible. And when you see them, you will know that the release was not a loss. It was an act of preparation. You made room. And now life is beginning to fill that room with something that fits who you have become. Way 10. You are being recognized for something you minimized. You are not someone who naturally draws attention to your own accomplishments, Capricorn. You do the work and then move on to the next thing without pausing long enough to make sure people have noticed what you did. This is both a strength and a habit that has sometimes cost you. Because the people who are not Capricorn, the people who do not share your specific relationship with quiet effort, sometimes simply do not see what you have done unless someone points to it clearly. This month, someone is pointing. Maybe it is a formal recognition, professional acknowledgement of something you accomplished that you had already mentally filed away as done and moved on from. Maybe it is a more personal acknowledgement, someone in your life saying directly that they have seen what you have been doing and that it has mattered. Maybe it is something smaller but no less meaningful. A moment of being truly seen by someone whose perception of you carries real weight. Whatever form it takes, this recognition is real. And the fact that you have minimized what you are being recognized for does not diminish its legitimacy. It just means you are being asked to do something that does not come naturally. You are being asked to accept it, to let yourself stand in it for a moment without deflecting, to receive the acknowledgement without immediately explaining all the ways it was no big deal, or crediting everyone else in the room, or turning back to the next task before the moment has fully landed. You did something worth recognizing. Let it be recognized. That too is part of how life aligns for you this month. Way 11. Your sense of purpose is returning with greater force. There are periods in every Capricorn's life when the sense of purpose that normally drives everything seems to thin out. The work continues because you are not the kind of person who stops working. But the meaning underneath the work becomes harder to access. You go through the motions with full competence and zero inspiration, and you wonder if this is simply what responsible adult life is supposed to feel like. It is not. And deep down you have always known that. You did not build everything you have built just to arrive at a place of competent emptiness. You built it because you believed the building was leading somewhere. Somewhere that mattered. Somewhere that would feel worth the sacrifice. This month, that sense of purpose is returning. It is returning with force. Not as a vague feeling of optimism, but as a specific clarity about why what you are doing matters and where it is leading. Something has reconnected inside you. The wire that runs between your daily effort and your deeper meaning has been reattached. And the electricity that flows through that wire is going to change the quality of everything you touch from here on out. When Capricorn has purpose, there is no stopping what gets built. You know this about yourself. You have seen it before. And now you are seeing it again from the inside, feeling it start to move the way it once moved. Hold on to this feeling. Build from it. Let it fuel not just your work but your relationships, your choices, your willingness to take the next necessary step. Life is aligning for you, Capricorn. The purpose is back. And everything that follows from purpose in your hands has always been extraordinary. If this message resonated with your sign, trust that it is not a coincidence. When the universe wants to speak to you, it always sends exactly the right signal. And you are here because you needed to hear this today. Your support as a subscriber or as a member of this community is what keeps these messages alive. They are the messages that touch, awaken, and transform. If this video made sense to you, leave in the comments the day you were born. Capricorn, this is a month that deserves your full presence. Not just your discipline, not just your strategy, not just your reliable, dependable, utterly dependable capacity to keep showing up, but your full presence. The version of you that notices things. The version of you that allows things to land. The version of you that is not just building toward the future but is actually here, In this moment, receiving what this moment is offering. You have spent a lot of your life living in future tense. The next goal, the next step, the next achievement to unlock. There is nothing wrong with that orientation. It is part of what makes you formidable. But the alignments that are happening for you right now are not entirely future-facing. Some of them are happening right now. The relationship that is moving forward now. The clarity that is returning now. The loyalty being shown to you is being shown now. The purpose that is rising in you is rising now. If you are entirely focused on what is coming next, you may walk right through these alignments without feeling them. And these are alignments worth feeling, because they are not just practical wins. They are confirmations. They are the universe telling you, in 11 different ways, that the path you have chosen has been a worthy one, that the effort you have given has been seen, that the patience you have practiced has been meaningful, that the structure you have built has been necessary, and that you, specifically you, are exactly the right person to be standing where you are standing as this month moves forward and this new chapter begins to open. The sea goat climbs because it was made to climb, but even the sea goat deserves to stop at the summit for a moment. Look around, take in how far you have come. Let it be enough just for today. And then when you are ready, keep going.